Good evening, students. Today we will discuss about our new chapter. The name of the chapter is your chemical reactions and equations. This is a very easy chapter. In this chapter we will discuss about varieties of reaction, that is different types of reactions. Basically in this chapter we will learn about the different type of chemical reactions and their mechanism with some examples, and at last we will learn how to balance a chemical reaction, and the chapter will complete. It's a very small chapter. So basically this chapter includes various type of reactions. So the first reaction, so we will learn first important chemical reactions. Important chemical reactions. First, there are numerous or varieties chemical reactions we will learn. So the first type of your reaction is combination reaction. The first type is your combination reaction, or it can be also said as synthesis reaction. Synthesis reaction. So combination reaction or synthesis reaction. Clear? Under this combination reaction or synthesis reaction, there are three categories. One is when one element combines with another element. When one element combines with one element, that is two elements combined. Here in this combination reaction, two elements can combine together, or one compound with one element can combine together, or two compounds combine together. Clear? In this combination reaction or synthesis reaction, two elements can combine together, one compound with one element can combine together, or two compounds can combine together to form a single substance. That means the product is single product. Clear? The product is single product. Though these two elements or a compound with one element or two compounds are combining together, they combine together to form a single substance, a single product. That is your combination reaction or synthesis reaction. Clear? So the first category is element plus element, that is element combines with other element. So the first example, let's take H2. This is a gas, and Cl2, this is also a gas. So the product is here 2HCl, that is hydrogen chloride. It is also a gas. The product is hydrogen chloride. It is also a gas. So here hydrogen is an element, and chlorine is an element. So two elements combine together to form hydrogen chloride. That is also a compound. It is a compound, because what is compound? If there are two or more atoms combined together, then they are known as compound. If there are two or more atoms, then we term them as compound. Clear? So two elements, they form to give a single product. That means basically hydrogen and chloride combines together. Therefore this reaction is termed as combination reaction. And here hydrogen and chlorine both are elements. Clear? So element combined with other element. Let's take another example. This is example 1. Suppose carbon, this is solid, it combines with oxygen, that is gas. So it will form CO2, that is carbon dioxide. So carbon is one element, it combines with oxygen. It is a gas, so it is also an element. They form carbon dioxide. That gives a single product by combining carbon and oxygen. Clear? Another example can be written as, suppose hydrogen, it is a gas, it is an element, plus oxygen, it is also a gas. Clear? It is an element. It will form water. This is liquid. So hydrogen and oxygen both are element combined together to give a single product, that is water. This is in liquid form. Clear? Suppose here is Fe, it is in solid, plus sulfur. This is also a solid. The product is your iron sulfide. That is FeS. So here Fe iron and S, that is sulfur, combines to form a single product. There is both this element, they combine to form a single product, that is gives iron sulfide. Clear? So these are the category under element plus element, that is element combines with one element. So this is the first category under combination reaction. Clear? The second category of combination reaction is when compound combines with another compound. When compound combines with another compound, that means compound plus compound. Compound plus compound, that is ammonia NH3 is a gas plus HCl, this is also gas, it will form NH4Cl, that is this is a solid. Clear? Therefore ammonia, it is a compound, HCl, it is also a compound, so two compound mixes or combines to form ammonium chloride, which is a salt. Let's take another example. Suppose calcium oxide, it is solid. Calcium oxide, it is a solid, it combines with carbon dioxide, this is gas, and forms CaCO3, that is calcium carbonate, it is a solid. So calcium oxide is solid and carbon dioxide gas, these are two compound combines together to form CaCO3, that is calcium carbonate. Calcium carbonate is solid. Therefore this is the second category where compound combines with another compound to form a single product or a single substance. Clear? Next category is your when compound combines with a element. When compound combines with a element. Clear? Examples are like suppose carbon monoxide, this is gas. When it combines with oxygen, carbon monoxide, it is a gas when combines with oxygen, and they give product carbon dioxide. So here carbon monoxide is a compound because there are two atoms. If more than one atom is present, then we term them as compound, and if therefore a single atom is present, therefore we term it as element. So carbon monoxide is a compound, it combines with oxygen, which is an element, to form carbon dioxide, which is again a compound. Therefore where compound and element combines together to form carbon dioxide and as a single product or single substance. So the third category is your compound plus element. Let's take another example. Suppose sulfur dioxide, this is gas. Sulfur dioxide is a gas, it combines with oxygen, is also a gas, and gives you sulfur trioxide. And this reaction, when you apply heat, this reaction will take place. So you have to apply heat over here. So sulfur dioxide, SO2, it is a compound, when combines with oxygen, which is an element, gives a product sulfur trioxide, which is a gas. Clear? So these are the category under combination or synthesis reaction. Number one is your element plus element, that is two elements combined together. Number two was compound plus compound, that is two compound combines together. And number three category is compound plus element, that is compound combines with an element. Clear? So this is combination reaction. Next under combination reaction, one category is also there, that is exothermic reaction. One category is also there, that is exothermic reaction. Now what is exothermic reaction? Exothermic reaction is a reaction where heat is released. Exothermic reaction is a reaction where heat is released. Heat is released, that is exothermic reaction. Clear? Now exothermic reaction means, particularly we will talk about combustion reaction. Exothermic reaction means combustion reaction. Now we know that is in a reaction where heat is released, that reaction is an exothermic reaction. So exothermic reaction will be like combustion reaction. Now what is combustion? What do you mean by combustion? Combustion is a burning of a substance in presence of oxygen. Burning of a substance in presence of oxygen, that is your combustion. So if you burn any substance in presence of oxygen, then heat is released. So that reaction will be termed as exothermic reaction. Therefore combustion reaction is a one type of exothermic reaction. Clear? So what is combustion? Combustion means burning of a substance in presence of oxygen, where heat is released and sometimes light is also released. Therefore, combustion reaction is one type of exothermic reaction where heat is released. Clear? What can be the example? Example is like when magnesium ribbon is burned in presence of oxygen, then magnesium will convert into magnesium oxide and heat is released, and sometime light is also released. Clear? That is when magnesium ribbon burned in oxygen, then magnesium gets converted to magnesium oxide and heat is released, and in this case light is also released. So this is a case of combustion reaction or exothermic reaction where heat is released. Clear? So this type combination reaction or synthesized reaction is your complete. Clear? Next type of reaction is your decomposition reaction. Next category is your number 2 category is your decomposition reaction. This is your second category or second reaction. What is decomposition reaction? Now suppose this is your reactant and it breaks down into two products. This is your reactant and it breaks down into two products. That is, decomposition reaction is a reaction where single substance breaks down to give two or more new kind of substance. I am repeating again. Decomposition reaction is a reaction where single substance breaks down to give two or more than two kind of new substance. So AB is a single substance. AB is a single substance. It breaks down to give two new substance, that is A and B, or it can give two or sometimes more than two. It can give sometimes two or more than two kind of substance. That is your decomposition reaction. Here AB is a reactant. When AB breaks down, it produces two new kind of substance. So that is your decomposition reaction. When a single substance breaks down to give two or more kind of new substance, then that reaction will be termed as decomposition reaction. Here we can say that AB is decomposed into A and B. AB is decomposed into A and B. So this is your decomposition reaction. Let's take examples to understand better. Suppose KClO3, this is potassium chlorate. KClO3, this is potassium chlorate. When heat is applied in potassium chlorate, it breaks down to potassium chloride, KCl plus oxygen. When potassium chlorate is burned or heat is applied to potassium chlorate, it breaks down to potassium chloride and oxygen. Clear? If we balance this equation, this will be 2 KClO3 and this will be 2 KCl and this is 3 oxygen. Clear? So we have just balanced the equation. So potassium chlorate, when is applying heat, it breaks down into potassium chloride, that is KCl, and releases oxygen. Clear? So this is a decomposition reaction because this is a single substance and it breaks down into KCl and oxygen. That means two new substance formed from the single substance. That means it is a decomposition reaction. So we can say KClO3, that is potassium chlorate, decomposed into potassium chloride and oxygen. Clear? Next, so it is a decomposition reaction. So under decomposition reaction, there are three categories. Number one is thermolytic reaction. Thermolytic decomposition. Thermolytic reaction or thermolytic decomposition. This is the first category under decomposition reaction. Thermolytic decomposition. Thermolytic decomposition means here the decomposition reaction which requires heat. Thermo means heat. The thermo word means heat. So thermolytic decomposition is a reaction where heat is required. That is breakdown due to the presence of heat. Breakdown of compound or breakdown of elements that requires heat or due to the presence of heat. Clear? So this is thermolytic decomposition. So let's take example. Suppose calcium carbonate, CaCO3, it is a solid. When heat is applied to calcium carbonate, it breaks down to calcium oxide and releases oxygen. So this is a thermolytic reaction. Whenever heat is required or whenever heat is given to any reaction, that reaction will be termed as thermolytic reaction. So it is a thermolytic reaction and decomposition reaction also, because thermolytic reaction is one type of decomposition reaction, because we are studying decomposition reaction and there are three categories under decomposition reaction. The first category is thermolytic reaction, clear, or thermolytic decomposition. So CaCO3 decomposes into CO and CO and oxygen. So from single substance you will get two substance. So this is a decomposition reaction. Another example is, suppose ammonium chloride, this is solid. When heat is applied to ammonium chloride, it decomposes to ammonia and HCl. Ammonia is a gas and HCl here also is a gas. Clear? So this is also a decomposition reaction. Another example, suppose 2HgO, that is mercury oxide, it decomposes to, whenever heat is applied, it decomposes to mercury and oxygen. So this is also a decomposition reaction, or more precisely thermolytic decomposition. All these reactions requires heat. All these reactions requires heat, or all these reactions requires heat. That means this reaction will be termed as endothermic reaction. This reaction is termed as endothermic reaction. Why? Because endothermic reaction means heat is required. For the reaction heat is required. Clear? If heat is required or heat is absorbed, then the reaction will be termed as endothermic reaction, because in this reaction heat is required or heat absorbed. So these reactions are endothermic reaction. What are exothermic reaction? Exothermic reaction means heat is released. That was exothermic reaction. And endothermic reaction means heat is absorbed or heat is required. So these reactions are your endothermic reaction. Clear? So this category is complete. Thermolytic decomposition, the first category under decomposition reaction, is complete. Next category is your photolytic decomposition. Next category is your photolytic decomposition. Photolytic decomposition. Photolytic decomposition. This is your second category, that is photolytic decomposition. Now photo means, here photo means light. Here photo means light. That means this reaction involves light. This reaction involves light, particularly sunlight. Clear? So those reactions that involve sunlight, or those reactions which require sunlight to happen, those reactions are termed as photolytic reaction or photolytic decomposition. Clear? Suppose an example, silver halide, 2AgCl, this is a silver halide or silver chloride. When it is a solid form, when sunlight is given to silver halide or silver chloride, then it decomposes to silver and releases chlorine. This is gas. Clear? So when silver halide is given sunlight, it decomposes to silver and releases Cl2 or chlorine gas. Now this is silver halide, or particularly we can say this silver chloride, or you can say silver halide. Clear? Now why halide? Because of this chlorine. Clear? So because of this chlorine, we know the halogen compound, we know that fluorine, chlorine, bromine and iodine, these four are termed as halogens. These four are termed as halogens. Clear? Therefore whenever these halogens combines with any other metal or any other element, that metal will be termed as halide. That means AgCl, here Ag is silver, so termed as silver halide. If we take AgBr, then it will be termed as silver bromide. So whenever this halogen compound, there is a halogen compound, therefore whenever this halogen compound combines with any other metal or any other element, that metal or element will be termed as your halide. That means we can say a halide compound. Clear? Or particularly the halogen is chlorine, therefore it will be termed as silver chloride or silver halide. Clear? These halogen compounds, these halogen element or halogen metal are very light sensitive. These halogen metal are very light sensitive. That's why these halogens are stored or always kept in a dark colored bottle. These halogen compound or halogen metal always kept in a dark colored bottle, because these halogens are very light sensitive. That's why they are to be kept in a dark colored bottle. Clear? So this is about your photolytic decomposition. Now let's take another example. In place of AgCl, if we take AgBr, that is silver bromide, and sunlight is given to silver bromide, then also it will be decomposed silver and gives bromine. This is also your photolytic decomposition reaction. Clear? So this is all about our photolytic decomposition reaction where light is required. Clear? So this is your second category after thermolytic decomposition. Second category is your photolytic decomposition, and there is also a third category which is known as electrolytic decomposition. Electrolytic decomposition. Clear? This is your third category under decomposition reaction, that is electrolytic decomposition. Clearly you can understand from the term, that is here electric is required. Electrolytic means here electric is required for this decomposition reaction to be occurred. Electric is required. That is your electrolytic decomposition. That means let's take an example. Suppose aluminium trioxide. It is to be taken in molten form. It is to be taken in molten form or liquid form and just pass electric current through it. Because electric is required for this decomposition reaction, just pass electric current through it, and aluminium will settle down from aluminium trioxide. Aluminium as a solid will settle down and oxygen is released. This is in gas form. Now as it is a electrolytic decomposition, that means electric current is to be passed. That means aluminium will settle down in cathode. Aluminium will settle down as cathode. Why? Because it is a metal, and we know that metal is deposited on cathode and non-metal is deposited at the anode. This is the features of electrolytic decomposition. Whenever electric current is passed to any substance, if there is a metal, that metal is deposited at the cathode and non-metal is deposited at the anode. So here metal is aluminium. So aluminium is deposited your cathode, and oxygen is non-metal because it is deposited at the anode, because you know what is metal and which is metal and which is non-metal. I have already covered that topic, that chapter, metal and non-metal. So you know well that what is metal, which is metal and which is non-metal. So metal is deposited in the cathode and non-metal is deposited at the anode. Clear? So this is your electrolytic decomposition where electric is required. Let's take another example. Suppose a compound PbBr2 lead bromide. This should be taken also as molten form. This should be taken also in molten form, that means in liquid form. If electric current is passed, electric current is also passed, then metal, that is lead, here metal is lead is deposited at the cathode, and non-metal, that is bromine, it is deposited at the anode because it is a non-metal. Bromine is your non-metal and lead is your metal. So metal should be deposited at the cathode and non-metal should be deposited at the anode. So this is your electrolytic decomposition. Now one question arises in your mind, that why molten form is taken? Why molten form? Why not solid form? Why not gaseous form? Because molten form is taken because in molten form electric can easily pass. In molten form, that is in liquid form, electric can easily pass, because we know in molten form or in liquid form the two molecules are not very close together. The molecular distance or intermolecular distance in liquid molecule are not very close. Clear? Therefore they can produce or they can form ions. The molten form can produce ions, that means positive ions, negative ions, and electric current is passed in molten form, then ions will act as a carrier. That means ion can carry those charge or those electric current. That's why molten form is taken, because if you take solid form or gaseous form, no ions is produced, and to carry electric current ions are required, and ions produced whenever you take molten form. So molten form is to be taken if electric current is passed. Clear? So this is your electrolytic decomposition. Now this second category reaction, that is decomposition reaction, is complete. So there are, in decomposition reaction, there are three categories. One is your thermolytic decomposition, one is photolytic decomposition, and the last one is your electrolytic decomposition. So decomposition reaction is complete. Next, the third reaction is your single displacement reaction. The third reaction is your single displacement reaction. The third category is, these are third type of reaction, that is single displacement reaction. Clear? Now what happens is that single displacement means one time displacement. Single displacement means one time displacement. That means displacement will occur only one time. There is one time displacement. Now in this case, what happens is that highly reactive metal will displace the less reactive metal. Highly reactive metal will displace the less reactive metal. You are already aware of this, because in metal and non-metal chapter this topic I have already covered, because there is a metal reactivity series. There is a metal reactivity series. I have told you that just learn this metal reactivity series. There is a series termed as metal reactivity series. Just see my lecture of metal and non-metal. You will understand better that there was a metal reactivity series. Clear? Some metals are given, and according to their electron taking capacity or reactivity capacity, they are arranged in increasing order. So they are termed as metal reactivity series. In that case, highly reactive metal will displace the less reactive metal. So in metal and non-metal section, just go through that topic, that is metal reactivity series and displacement reaction, how highly reactive metal displaces the less reactive metal. So I have already discussed in details that the metal reactivity series we have to be learned, and how displacement reaction is taking place. So just go through that topic and you will understand better. So from that section, metal reactivity series is to be learned. Clear? Now what happens is that the highly reactive metal will displace the less reactive metal. Clear? So this is termed as a single displacement reaction, that is displacement will take place just at one time. So example is, suppose iron, this is solid form, it reacts with copper sulfate. Clear? Iron, Fe, it reacts with copper sulfate, which is in our aqueous form. Clear? So the product will be copper plus FeSO4. Copper plus FeSO4. Copper is your solid form and FeSO4 is your aqueous. So now here Fe displaces copper. Fe displaces copper from copper sulfate solution to produce ferrous sulfate solution. Clear? Now Fe is highly reactive than copper. Fe is highly reactive than copper. That's why the displacement is taking place. Fe is highly reactive than copper. That's why this displacement reaction can takes place. Clear? If the reaction is like that, CuSO4, Cu plus FeSO4, Cu plus FeSO4, then the reaction cannot complete, because copper cannot displace Fe from ferrous sulfate. This reaction is not possible, because copper is less reactive than iron. Copper is less reactive than iron. That's why copper cannot displace Fe. Clear? Fe is more reactive. That's why Fe displaces copper from copper sulfate solution, and this reaction is possible. This reaction is not possible because copper cannot displace Fe, because copper is less reactive. Clear? So always highly reactive metal will displace its less reactive metal from its salt solution. Clear? Now here displacement takes place only at one time, that is Fe displaces just copper. There is a one time displacement, that's why it is termed as single displacement reaction. Now the reactivity series, just I have told you that metal reactivity series, there are many metals, for example like Fe, copper, Mg, lead, sodium, all these metals are arranged according to the metal reactivity series. So just go through that lecture, metal and non-metal section, and you will better understand the topic. Clear? Next, another example is suppose zinc as solid and copper sulfate, it is in aqueous form. So when copper sulfate solution is treated with zinc, the result is your zinc sulfate, it is in aqueous form, plus copper is deposited. Here also zinc is more reactive than copper. Here also zinc is highly reactive than copper. That's why zinc displaces copper from its copper sulfate solution and produces zinc sulfate. Clear? Here copper sulfate is actually blue color. Copper sulfate is actually blue color, and whenever you treat this copper sulfate solution with zinc, the solution will be colorless. The solution will be colorless. The solution will be colorless. That means copper is displaced by zinc and produces zinc sulfate, ZnSO4. That means copper sulfate was initially blue in color, and whenever it is treated with zinc, zinc sulfate is formed. That means the blue colored will transform to colorless. Clear? So this is our single displacement reaction, where highly reactive metal displaces the less reactive metal. Clear? Next category, next type of reaction is your double displacement reaction. That was single displacement reaction. Now here is double displacement reaction. Double displacement reaction, that is, the reaction will takes place with double displacement, double decomposition reaction. This is also termed as double decomposition. This is also termed as double decomposition. Clear? And also termed as metathesis reaction. Metathesis reaction. Clear? All these reactions are same, double displacement reaction, or you can say double decomposition reaction, or you can say metathesis reaction. These three reactions are same. Clear? So double displacement means here displacement will take place two times. That means two aqueous solution will break down and they exchange their ions. Listen carefully. Two aqueous solution will react and they break down and they will exchange their ions. Now let's be clear with an example. Suppose AgNO3 silver nitrate. Clear? This is silver nitrate. AgNO3 silver nitrate, it is taken in aqueous form, plus suppose KCl, it is also taken in aqueous form. Now what happen is that the product will be your AgCl. It will precipitate as solid, and the side product will be your KNO3 aqueous form. Clear? Now AgNO3, that is when treated with KCl, that is aqueous, AgCl will precipitate and KNO3 will be your side product, that is potassium nitrate. Now this is the aqueous solution and this is the aqueous solution. When two aqueous solutions are treated, then double displacement reaction will take place. That means AgNO3 will break down and KCl also break down, and then they exchange their ions. That means Ag will take ions of potassium and potassium will take ions of Ag. That means exchange. Suppose here it is AgNO3, it will break down like Ag plus and NO3 minus, and here is KCl, it will break like K plus, like Cl minus. Now they will exchange their ions. Now Ag plus will take Cl, that is ions of potassium, and NO3 minus, it will take ions of potassium. That is the product will be your AgCl, this AgCl, and NO3 minus K, that is KNO3. Clear? So two aqueous solution will at first breaks down and then they will exchange their ions. Clear? So this is your double displacement reaction. Here displacement takes place two times. The number one displacement is when AgNO3 and AgNO3 breaks down. These are one type, one decomposition, and here KCl breaks down. Here decomposition is a second time. That means it is termed as double decomposition reaction. This is therefore it is double decomposition reaction. When so first AgNO3 decomposes into Ag and NO3, then KCl decomposes into K plus and Cl minus. So two times decomposition, so it is termed as double decomposition. And double displacement, why? Because AgNO3, that is Ag takes Cl minus ions and NO3 takes K plus ions. That is double displacement. First Ag takes Cl minus, that is a one time displacement, and NO3 then takes K plus, that is second time displacement. That is double displacement reaction. Clear? Or it is termed as at metathesis reaction. So this is your double displacement reaction, or it can be termed as, this is termed as precipitation reaction. It can also be said it is a precipitation reaction. Because why precipitation reaction? Because precipitates form. This is your precipitate. This is your precipitate. Precipitate AgCl will form and it will settle down. Clear? And it will settle down. That is, it is also termed as your precipitation reaction. Clear? So this is your double displacement reaction. Last category is your redox reaction. These are very important. This is your last category. That is our number 4 category. That is redox reaction. That is your redox reaction. Now what is redox reaction? Redox means reduction and oxidation. Redox means reduction and oxidation. Redox means reduction and oxidation. That is, it is a combination of reduction and oxidation. It is a combination of reduction and oxidation. Now reduction and oxidation takes place simultaneously. Reduction and oxidation takes place simultaneously. This is your redox reaction. Clear? That means reduction and oxidation takes place simultaneously. Now, what is reduction and what is oxidation? Reduction, what is reduction and what is oxidation? Reduction means gain of oxygen. Reduction means gain of reduction means loss of oxygen. Reduction means loss of oxygen. Reduction means loss of oxygen. And oxidation means gain of oxygen. Reduction means loss of oxygen and oxidation means gain of oxygen. Clear? So this is a reduction. Now we will study this redox reaction in terms of oxygen and in terms of hydrogen. We will study this redox reaction first in terms of oxygen and second in terms of hydrogen. Now we are studying redox reaction in terms of oxygen. Now we are studying redox reaction in terms of oxygen. So when in terms of oxygen, the definition of reduction and oxidation is as follows. That is, when we will study in terms of oxygen, loss of oxygen means reduction and gain of oxygen means oxidation. Clear? So just take an example and you will understand better. Suppose 2FeO, that is ferrous oxide, 2FeO ferrous oxide, when it is treated with carbon, that is in coal form, when it is treated with carbon, your product is carbon dioxide plus 2Fe. Your product is carbon dioxide and 2Fe. Clear? Now look at this. It is a ferrous oxide, that is iron oxide. This 2Fe losses oxygen. Clear? This 2FeO in product, it is formed as 2Fe. That means it losses its oxygen, and loss of oxygen means reduction. So therefore it is reduction. It is your reduction. That means iron oxide is reduced to iron. Clear? And look at this. This carbon gain oxygen. Carbon gain oxygen, 2 oxygen. Carbon gains 2 oxygen, and gain of oxygen means oxidation. Gain of oxygen means oxidation. That means carbon is oxidized to carbon dioxide. Carbon is oxidized to carbon dioxide. So this is our redox reaction. This is in terms of oxygen. Loss of oxygen means reduction and gain of oxygen means oxidation. Clear? Now our second category is when we will study in terms of hydrogen. When we will study in terms of hydrogen, and this is just reverse. This is just reverse of oxygen. That means reduction means gain of oxygen. Here reduction means gain of oxygen and oxidation means loss of oxygen. Clear? So it is this is just reverse. Just see side by side. This is just reverse. In terms of hydrogen, it is just reverse in terms of oxygen. That is, in terms of hydrogen, reduction means gain of oxygen and oxidation means loss of oxygen. If we study in terms of hydrogen. Clear? So let's take example. Suppose 2NH3 this is gas, that is ammonia. When it is treated with bromine, that is 3Br2, this is in gas form, bromine, your product is nitrogen, that is gas, and 6HBr, that is hydrogen bromide. Clear? This is your product. Now look at this figure. From NH3 to N2, hydrogen is lost. From NH3 to N2, hydrogen is lost, and loss of hydrogen means it is oxidation. This will be your hydrogen. This will be your hydrogen, not oxygen. This is your hydrogen. Clear? So loss of hydrogen means oxidation. Therefore, this is termed as oxidation. This is termed as oxidation. Loss of hydrogen means your oxidation. So NH3 is oxidized to nitrogen, and from Br2 to 6HBr, from Br2 to 6HBr, look at carefully, one hydrogen is added. From Br2 to 6HBr, hydrogen is added. That means gain of hydrogen, and gain of hydrogen means reduction. So we can say Br2 is reduced to HBr. Br2 is reduced to HBr. That means this is your reduction. This is termed as reduction. So this is all about your redox reaction. This is very important. One is in terms of oxygen and one is in terms of hydrogen. So you have to remember, when in terms of oxygen, when reduction happens, when oxidation happens, and when in terms of hydrogen is said, when reduction happens and when oxidation happens. Clear? So this is all about this chapter. And last, I will provide you some chemical equations and how to balance chemical reactions or chemical equations. So these are the questions from NCERT. These are the questions from your NCERT. Clear? I have just pick up those questions for you. So number 1 is, suppose HNO3 nitric acid is treated with calcium hydroxide. Clear? The product is your CaNO3 whole 2, that is calcium nitrate plus H2O. Now you have to balance this equation. Clear? So you know that we will count reactant molecules and we will count product molecules. If reactant is equals to product, then the equation is already balanced. So we have to count first reactant molecules and product molecules. Here one hydrogen is here, and there is here is one hydrogen and two hydrogen. This is 2 hydrogen and this is 1 hydrogen. Therefore there is 3 hydrogen all total. There is 3 hydrogen all total. Clear? And here 2 hydrogen and 1 hydrogen, that is 3 hydrogen. Here is all total. So what we will do, just balance this and we will have our product. So here just add 2 and the equation is balanced. Here just add 2 and equation is balanced. Here also we add 2. So your equation now count the hydrogen. This is 2 hydrogen and 2 hydrogen. Therefore all total 4 hydrogen. And here also 2 2s are 4, that is 4 hydrogen. So hydrogen is equal. Now count nitrogen. Here is 2 nitrogen, there is 2 nitrogen, and here also N2, that is 2 nitrogen. So nitrogen is equal. Now count oxygen. 2 and 3 oxygen, 2 and 3, therefore 6 oxygen, and O2, that is 6 and 2 8 oxygen. Count 3 2, that is 6 oxygen, and 2O, that is 8 oxygen. So oxygen is already balanced, and calcium here is 1 and calcium also here is 1. So calcium is already balanced. So this in this way we can balance a chemical equation. Let's take another example. Suppose here is NaOH, that is sodium hydroxide, and H2SO4 sulfuric acid. The product, and this is NaOH plus H2SO4. So Na2SO4 plus H2O. Now count number of reactant molecules. There are in left hand side, see there is 1 Na, and right hand side there are 2 Na. So therefore to equal Na we have to write 2. Therefore here also there are 2 Na, and right hand side also 2 Na. Now count other atoms. Now count the number of oxygen atom. 2 oxygen and 4 oxygen, that means 6 oxygen are there. Count here 4 oxygen and 1 oxygen, that means here oxygen is 5, therefore 1 oxygen is short. Clear? So just write 2 here, so that there is 2 oxygen and 4 oxygen, so total 6 oxygen, and here also 6 oxygen was present. That means oxygen already balanced. Now take hydrogen. Here is 2 hydrogen, H2, that is 2 hydrogen, and here are 2 hydrogen, that means 4 hydrogens. Count hydrogen, that is 2 2s are 4. Here are also 4 hydrogen. So all atoms are balanced. Now sulfur, here is 1 sulfur, here is 1 sulfur. Sulfur is already balanced. So this chemical equation is already balanced. Clear? So in this way we will balance chemical equations. Let's take another example. Suppose BaCl2, that is barium chloride, plus H2SO4 sulfuric acid, it is treated with, when the product is here, BaSO4 plus water. Clear? Now count the number of atoms, that means left hand side 1 Ba, right hand side 1 Ba. Ba is balanced, 2 chlorine, and here is there are 2 chlorine. HCl, this will be your HCl, this will be your HCl. So there are 2 chlorine and here is only 1 chlorine. That means chlorine is short, therefore write 2 here. That means, so that this is 2 chlorine now, here is also 2 chlorine now, chlorine is balanced. Now sulfur, 1 sulfur, 1 sulfur. Clear? 4 oxygen, also 4 oxygen, 1 Ba and 1 Ba. So all atoms are balanced. All atoms are balanced. So this, in this way we will balance chemical reactions or chemical equations. Clear? So I have covered all the topics from this chapter. No topic or no topic is left. I have covered all the topics, all the reactions. So this is your chemical reactions and equations. This chapter is complete. Thank you.